Hello everyone, and welcome to another installment of my Piano Lessons Gone Nuts series. Hello, I'm Shawn and welcome to my Easy Piano Lessons. When you see PGN, think Piano Lessons Gone Nuts, Shawn videos for piano lessons. I have a series of this, and it's just me answering questions in general about music and piano. There's a playlist on my channel. If you look at it, it's PGN Piano Lessons Gone Nuts. It has all the videos in this series you can check out. But anyway, this is our part 2 on the circle of fifths. Let me close the door here. Everybody has been wanting a part 2 on this. I did a part 1 recently. I used to tutor theory in college. I'm actually a minor in theory in my degree. And you know, have lots of theory information, and I'm going to make it easy for you. And when I tutored it, that was my goal, is to take something that seemed complicated and that the professors made complicated and to break it down and make it easy for people. And so that's what I'm trying to do here. So if you haven't watched the part 1 on Circle of Fifths, what are you doing watching this? Go back and watch the part 1 first. You're not going to get it unless you've done that, okay? So watch the part 1, make sure you get it well, and let's proceed, okay? A good understanding of the circle of fifths will make music, the language of music, come alive for you. You'll understand chords, why this chord follows this one, what it means to be in the key of D flat, what to expect in the key of D flat, what scale runs to do when you're playing. It's just a roadmap to music, okay? So let's get going here. We already have discussed the keys and how we have fifths as we go to the right. Okay, I'm going to give you a little review, okay? So as we go this way, let me ask you a question. Do you know the answer to this? As we go this way on the circle of fifths, what are the keys that we're doing? They're the sharp keys, right? As we go this way, we're doing the flat keys. And what that means is that this side of the circle of fifths will have, these keys will have sharps in the key signatures. As we go this way on the circle of fifths, we'll have flats in the key signatures, okay? As we go to the right, we get more and more and more sharps. As we go this way, we get more and more flats, all right? So let's look at what's going to be in the key signatures, okay? So we know C is 0, or it's neutral. It has no sharps, no flats. As we go to the key of G, look, I have the number 1. I already wrote it in here. Hold on. I don't want to start the video over. Hey, Mom, just call Shauna. I'm doing a video. Okay, bye-bye. Okay. We have 0, and then here we have 1 sharp in the key signature. And what that means is what's automatically sharp. You know, when we had piano lessons when you were a kid, or maybe you're a kid now, and you have a sharp in the key signature, and you have 1 sharp. Well, guess what key you're in? Unless it's a minor key, but you're in the key of G. Okay, let's just assume everything's major for now for simplicity. And you had 1 sharp, would be in the key of G. If you had 2 sharps in the key signature, so when I say key signature, I mean, you know, when you're looking at the music and you have on the left side, you'll have 2 sharps there, or 1 sharp or whatever. 2 sharps is going to be the key of D. Okay, so you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if somebody says, how many sharps are there in the key of E? Well, the answer is 4. Okay? How many sharps are in the key of C sharp? 7. Now, here's the thing. Now we want to learn what sharps are in these keys, okay? And they build on one another. All right? It's all going to make sense. The fifths, you know, from C, G, D, A, so forth, those go in fifths, but so do the sharps and the flats. Let me show you. When you have 1 sharp in the key signature, and when you're key of G, and you have F sharp, that sharp is F. So in green here, I put an F here for the sharp keys. So when you have the key of G and you got 1 sharp, it's F. Now listen, guys, it's always F. It's always 1 sharp. The key of G always just has 1 sharp. Now you may have to play an accidental in the middle. You may have a C sharp thrown in once in a while, an accidental. But the only thing that's naturally occurring in the key of G is that F sharp. Okay? That's native to the key. It's called diatonic. So there's an F sharp in the key of G. Now, when we go to the key of D, we're going to have 2 sharps. But guess what? We're going to have F sharp again, because F's always the first one you have. No matter what key we're playing in, F is always the first one. All right? So F, and then guess what the second sharp is going to be? C sharp. C's the next sharp. So when you're in the key of D, you're going to have F sharp and C sharp. F sharp, C sharp. That's what makes it the key of D, is that it has F sharp and C sharp, and all the rest of them are natural. That's what makes it sound like the key of D. What makes the key of G sound like the key of G is just the F sharp. Now, I want to show you something else that's neat. Remember, it's called the circle of fifths. The sharp. You guys asked for this, okay? So don't tell me you're bored and I talk too much, because I have to talk to explain it. The F sharp going to the C sharp, do you know what interval that is? It's a fifth. It's also a fifth. The sharps also go in fifths as well. Okay? So F to C is a fifth. Watch. F sharp and a C sharp. Remember I told you to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is a perfect fifth. It's not, you know, F sharp to C. It's C sharp. So we have a perfect fifth. Here that just rings, and it's just a straight tone with those 2 intervals, F sharp, C sharp. That's a fifth. Now watch what happens when we go to the key of A. We're going to add a sharp. If I had not written this up here, you should be able to figure out what's the next sharp going to be, because if C sharp is that one, what's a fifth away from C sharp? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The reason I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is because I want you guys to not get confused and do a G by accident. It's G sharp. G sharp is a perfect fifth from C sharp, not G, because you got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now the theory professors won't tell you to do that, because maybe they feel it's beneath them, or it's making it, dumbing it down for you. Hey man, it's not dumbing it down, it's understanding how many notes are in between these 2. And if that's what you got to do to understand it, then let's do it. C sharp to G sharp is a fifth. So, let me ask you this. In the key of A, it's not a trick question. The answers are all right here. In the key of A, how many sharps are there? 3. Okay, there's 3. What are they? Well, you always have F sharp, you always have C sharp, and then you always have G sharp is the third one. So those are the 3 sharps. Okay? So the key of A has 3 sharps in it, F, C, G, and G was a fifth away from C sharp. Right, we got it? Let's do another one. I won't go through the whole, that'll take an hour or more. We're just going to do one more here. E, on the sharp side, has how many sharps? Well, first, let me ask you this. If someone says, well, what about the key? What can you tell me about the key of E? Immediately you should be able to say from the circle of fifths, well, it has sharps in it. Why? Because it's on the right side of the circle of fifths. It's over here. If it were over here, it would be flats. So the first thing you should realize is that it's a sharp key, that it has sharps in the key. The second thing is that it has 4 sharps. And then I say, well, what are they? And then you say F, C, G, D. Oh, look, another fifth from G to D is a fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. G sharp to D sharp. I didn't put the sharps in there. I didn't want it to be too messy. But it's G sharp to D sharp. That's the next sharp that we add. So we have, okay, so the key of E has 4. Now, even though I wrote this up here, F, C, G, D, A, E, B, if you find an F here and go around the circle of fifths, you can find those same letters. Watch, F, C, G, D, A, E, B. Why? Because they're in fifths. And you say, well, some of them have sharps. It doesn't matter. The letters are the same. The letters, if you count letters, F, G, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C, D, E, F, G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifths. You count the letters there, and you get the fifth. All right, let's do the hardest one, and then we'll go to the flat side. Okay, you still with me? Some people pay hundreds of dollars to get this information when they take a theory class in college. All right. So, key of C sharp. How many sharps? 7. Now some people say, oh, that's a hard key. No, it's not, because you don't have to remember what's not sharp. Everything's sharp. Everything's sharp. have to remember what's not sharp, because everything is. When you play in this key or this key, there's some letters that aren't sharp, and you have to remember that those aren't. But if everything's sharp, that actually makes it easier, okay? To me, it does. Okay, and these are hard for people only because they don't play in those keys very much. If you played in these keys all the time, then these keys would be difficult. That's the only reason that these keys seem to be difficult for people to play it, because they're not used to playing that many sharps. That's it. It's just what you're used to, okay? Saxophone players love sharps. I think it's sharps that they love. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong on that. You can tell me if you're a saxophone player. It's either sharps or flats. They love one or the other. Anyway, on 7 sharps. Everything sharp. F, C, G, D, A, E, B. So we sharp everything. We even sharp the E. And we sharp the B. B sharp, that's B sharp, right? So C sharp, D sharp, E sharp. F, it's like playing an F natural, but we call it E sharp. And you know what, guys? That's why we call it E sharp, because the scale has to go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. I'm not going to call it C, D, F. Where's the E? That's why we have the note called E sharp. You know, why don't they just call it F? Because it's got to look on paper like a scale. Okay, it's got to look like that. So C, D, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp. I'm not going to call it, see, I'm not going to go from A sharp and skip the letter B altogether and go to C. A sharp, B sharp. That's why we have B sharp. Our lovely B sharp. Alright, so that's the key of C sharp. Flats are the same thing, but we're going this way. We're going down, okay? Now, we're gonna have flats that we put in these keys. Okay, you may need to take a break before we do the next one. Actually, you know what? I may divide this up. Let me make another video, and then I'll explain the flat side. Okay? So let's do that. Let's break it up, and I'll see you guys in part 3.